Hey friends, so you want to hear a little bit more about the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University course and my experience with my husband. And I'm going to share super quickly what that looks like and our own experiences with finances and walking through this course. So first of all, what it actually is a 9-week course. When you sign up, it's $129. You get registered to your class, that 9-week course. So you get to attend a class. It's a 2-hour course. And I'll tell you what that looks like, but you get a book, you get Dave Ramsey's book, you get a workbook with homework that will go along with it, with that class, and the workbook is updated, so that's the one we had 2 years ago. But you'll also have some resources that you are able to use because you've signed up for the course. Some of Dave Ramsey's things you can find and use now, but you'll also be able to access things that only members who registered can do. And so it's a 9-week course. You show up. It is a course that is a biblically based financial strategy course. So there are some biblical principles to that. It's not totally intrusive. So if you're like, I don't do that whole churchy thing, whatever, it's not totally intrusive, but it is part of it. So if you like that, you're going to feel all the warm fuzzies and the cherry on top of your finances being like, yes, this is what God wants me to do with my money. So it's not just, real world stuff, but it is biblically based. And then, so you're going to walk through that course where the first course you show up. It's kind of like high school. It's not like high school, but I used to teach high school. And it's that first day where you're going to meet your class, see what you guys are all about. And the cool thing is most people you come from different walks of life. So you're going to have singles, you're going to have married, you're going to have divorced, you're going to have military, non-military, you're going to have everything and every financial situation. And so they'll do a little bit of introductions, and it's not scary, but it's kind of one of those, like, you meet each other, and then they're going to do an anonymous snapshot, an anonymous financial snapshot of your class. So you fill out some things that say where you are financially, savings, debt, blah, blah, blah. Fold up the card, no name on it, just give it, and you see what the whole class has as a whole. And then you'll do that at the end of the class and at the end of the 9 weeks, and you'll see how much improvement you made. So that's what you do the first day. You get to know each other, you do that financial snapshot, and then you start getting into the class and the themes. So in this book, Dave teaches a bunch of themes. He teaches also his baby steps, and the baby steps are things that we know. They're like common sense things. And so I'm going to see if I can find them super fast. But step 1 is $1,000 in an emergency fund. Step 2 is paying off debt using his snowballs. Step 3 is 3 to 6 months in an emergency fund. Step 4 is built, and so it builds all the way to where you get to talk about retirement, paying off your house, and then building wealth and giving. And so all these are like no-brainer things that we know about finances, but then he teaches them and a couple other strategies too, with like insurance and creating a will and a legacy, all things that encompass finances. And then you work through, so you introduce when you go to class, typically, so after you do that introduction class, you'll even have a video that day, but they're 2 hours long typically. So you go and you'll watch a video that Dave presents. So it's Dave Ramsey presenting the theme. Your facilitators will do like a Q&A afterwards and typically break into a small group discussion. And so they kind of mix it up every time. And so you're with people that are walking through this with you, all different types of debt, non-debt, or goals financially. The facilitators themselves have to have had Financial Peace University as a class themselves. So they have been through this as well. So it's really cool. You're going to be in a very, very, very encouraging environment. After every class, there's homework through your workbook. So you work through the workbook together through the video. Then there's Q&A, and then you have an assignment for the week. And it's not like you're going to get kicked out if you don't do the homework, but this is where the accountability and awesomeness of showing up for the class actually is. So the workbook helps you take the steps, because anybody can buy this book. And this is why I'm so passionate about presenting this video, so that you are encouraged to actually go and attend to classes. Anybody can buy this book. Anybody can take classes online. And he offers it online, and I think that's great. There's value to that. But you can take things online, you can Amazon Prime a book, you can Google information, but what keeps people accountable is the face-to-face interaction and, that accountability of people know you, see you, expect you to show up, not in a bad way, but just in that loving, encouraging, supportive way. And so I am passionate about that, and I'm going to tell you a couple other stories, but so just to give you a background of my financial situation with my husband is, when we got married, I brought to the table a little bit of debt. So I had a car payment and a little bit of just credit card, I think about $5,000. We put an additional $5,000 on a credit card for our honeymoon. And so in our first year of marriage, we had about $10,000 of debt. But in that first year, we also paid off that debt completely and got up to $10,000 in savings. At that point, we were educating ourselves on retirement and I don't think most young couples do, but we took a ton of time to research finances, and we were throwing money at our debt, we were throwing money into savings, and then we were throwing money in retirement. And we thought we were doing the right thing, but we weren't learning strategies about budgeting. We weren't learning strategies about budgeting for emergencies. And your first year or two of marriage, there may be we had some other stresses working through life and jobs and kids, but we didn't know what kind of emergencies would be tied to our finances. That we weren't reading books like that. And so what we found was we were doing this like up and down situation because we thought we were educating ourselves on finances, but not enough the Dave Ramsey way that would have helped us so much prepare for other life events that took us up and down that wrap into your finances. And so what happened was I decided to quit teaching. My husband had a great job and we were able to transition. I stepped into a direct selling company and was making money doing that. And so we kind of had this combined income, but then life situations happened. I had a miscarriage that really kind of rocked me a little bit. So I took a step back from my direct selling position a little bit, kind of like almost non-existent at that season of my life. And then we found out we were pregnant with a third kid. And 2 days later, my husband lost his job. And so we were not planning for that, for any of that, and definitely not financially. And so we found ourselves in a situation again where we didn't have an emergency fund. We had, by the grace of God, a great severance package through his work since his company was bought out, and that's how his position was eliminated. But it was only 9 weeks long. I ended up stepping up my direct selling business where I was making more money. He got another job. It was great, but we started making more money. And again, we're like, well, we're still frustrated. What's going on? And so we signed up a year later for Financial Peace University after I saw a girlfriend of mine post on Facebook that she was enrolling in Financial Peace University. And I thought, she doesn't even look like someone who needs that. Like, she looked like she had it together. Not that you look at anybody and go, maybe you have some people in your life, you look at like, they're a train wreck, what's going on? But she didn't look that type. And so I was like, wow, when she posted that, tons of people commented to her thread that, this changed my life, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow, I think we're going to go ahead and try this because it looks like people are really jumping on board and finding success. So my husband and I did, and we signed up, and there were so many amazing things that came from that, life-changing for sure. So this morning when I was talking with him, I'm like, hey, I'm going to record this video. I said, what were your 3 biggest takeaways? And I don't even know what inspired me to do that, but I'm like, I'm going to share that on the video. And he said, for sure, it was the budgeting, the learning how to budget. So we had always... We even had found some strategies and like learned some ideas on budgeting, but we didn't learn the full spectrum budgeting. Like Dave Ramsey teaches you how to zoom out on your life, like long term to zoom back in so that you can make sense of month to month budgeting. We thought it was so concrete, like in a box, like this is your budget, stick with it, and if you fail at it, you're failing. And we didn't realize how to be flexible with a budget to plan ahead and live in the now. And so that was so freeing. He said budgeting. He also said communication, the structure for communication. So when we were walking through our finances and walking through life and having these situations, we would just blame each other, like, because that's the only thing we knew how to do. No, it's your fault, you bought that. No, your fault because you bought that. But we didn't have the structure and the tool belt, the tools to communicate openly and really find the problem and find the solution. So budget, communication, and then he said how quick it happened for us, and not just us, but for people in general. So Dave Ramsey calls it gazelle intensity. I call it, and we were just intentional, and so it is gazelle intense, and so we were quick to do it because the strategies, small, simple changes in our mindset and our habits turned into huge, like the snowball effect of debt, really, and that is what happens. It's slow, and then it's like, boom. you see this big impact. And so for me, when I thought about it after he reflected, I was like, yes, that's amazing. For me, it was awareness for us to go into that together and finally throw everything onto the table and say, here's where we're at. Because my philosophy when things are hard sometimes is ignorance is bliss. And so I kind of looked at it and was like, no, we're fine. Blah, la, 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 la. And we were not fine. We should have been, had we just thrown stuff on the table sooner. But the awareness allowed us, they say, what is the saying? The more you know, the better you do. So we started to know better so we could do better. Awareness, then communication for sure. And for me, it was the hope. As being a personality who loves to plan and strategize, that was causing stress because when I would plan and strategize like a vacation, I'm like, I don't know where the money's coming from. Oh my gosh, the kids are starting school in the fall. Where's the money for the fees, for the shoes, for the supplies? Like it would cause stress. So for me, the hope of like, we're planning, but like we know where the money's coming from. Amazing. So those were our 3 takeaways. Huge. Why I fully believe you should take the class is the accountability. I said it before. Some of the things that we experienced walking through the class with accountability was, and my husband said it this morning too, we were kind of laughing and just reminiscing, enjoying that season of our life that made such a huge impact was, he even said, he goes, we would have never worked through those strategies had we not signed up for the actual class. There was a day we had lacked so many, we lacked our communication skills, yet they were still in the refinement stage. We're driving there to our class and we started to have a heated conversation. So heated that like I'm bawling and we are not talking kindly to each other. We pull over the car 1 block from the building where we were taking the class and just really went head to head and we're like, ugh, and we didn't even realize we had so much anger and resentment in this area. Honest to God, I don't even remember what it was at that point. But we worked through it and I remember sitting in that car clear as can be still to this day. The crying, the sobbing, the hurt feelings, the anger, the words, but then coming to a point where we looked at each other and said, from this day forward, this is how we're communicating. Total game changer. We have never fought about money like that since. We have a problem, we solve it. We know we have the strategies. And so we walked through that class with people who were in every money situation known to man, big, little, debt, no debt, whatever, and they helped us so much, like learning the budgeting. It's a new strategy. It's new. And so we had to go like, how do we budget? And they're like, give it 3 months. First month, we were horrible at budgeting and we had the tools, but we showed up and we told them, did our homework. We'd talk about it and they're like, nope, just do it again. 3 months. Second month, we're like, okay, we're a little bit better. Last month was a mess. Second month was better, still making mistakes. The people who were making mistakes with us gave us courage and encouragement like, hey, okay, we're all in this together. The people who had already walked through it that were in our class were like, 3 months, you can do it. Just trust us. It made a huge difference. And so it really is about that accountability and awareness and the intentionality that I think will change and be the biggest game changer for you. I love Dave Ramsey's philosophy. He talks about live like no one else so that one day you can live and give like no one else. And our mindset has totally changed and that has been the most, I think, rewarding for us is we started giving right away and seeing that when you put trust in the financial strategies that are just tried and true, give first, be intentional with where your money goes, give first, save, and then, you're paying off your debt and you're figuring out where everything has to go. There's so much peace and excitement in that. And so live like no one else so you can live and give like no one else eventually. But it is so worth it. The strategies that you learn are amazing, will take you through any season of life. So even though my husband and I will experience and continue to experience emergencies, life changes, unexpected things, hardships, we're more prepared for them, planned for them, and equipped to face them as they come. We're just equipped and really excited about that, to share that with anybody who feels like they need that. So if I haven't answered a question, drop it in the comments below and I will answer it, and get these classes registered, get signed up so you can be within our own community in the class that the girl in our thread is talking about. But if not, sign up in another one and invite a buddy so you're in it together, and just you will not regret doing this. I promise you. So questions below, and let me know if there's any other way I can support you in making this decision.